Welcome back to the pond build. In this video, the fish are here. We're officially gonna be stocking this thing. It's been a while, but after a year and a half of building and letting it fill up, it's finally time to actually put fish in it. But before we go back home and pick up the fish, let's take a quick overview of the pond. It's been a long time coming, but we're finally gonna get the fish in. Now, traditionally, there's 3 different ways you can stock a pond. You can either have a fish truck roll up and start dumping fish in them, but this pond really doesn't need that many fish to need a truck, so we're not doing that. The second way is you can actually go to a fish hatchery, but the closest fish hatchery to me is like 3 hours away, and plus when we called them, they didn't even have fish. And then there's the third way, which is kind of new, and it's actually getting fish shipped straight to your house in a box. And that's the route we went with. They should be getting delivered any minute now, so let's go back to the house and pick them up. Or I guess wait on them. They'll be here though. All right, guys, the fish are delivered. Now we gotta go pick them up, take them to the pond, and we have to introduce them to the pond just like it said. All right, here's the fish. It's a lot of fish, honestly. That is a lot of fish. Cool, we'll take it. What do you think, Mammy? Huh? I'm gonna go put the fish in the pond.
Call for bed.
All right, I'm gonna go do it, all right? All right, bye. I'm gonna load up these boxes and then we're taking them to the pond. All right, got them loaded up. It's literally a truck bed full. So, I mean, I think we got a lot more fish than I actually thought I was getting. Not mad. All right, boys, we're rolling up to the pond. This might be a bad idea. It's a little slick, but we're gonna see if we can get down here on this lower level. Okay, I think we did it. All right, now let's get out there and let's count the fish, because I think we got a lot more fish than I was actually supposed to. So the boxes back here say Texas Fishing LLC, but I actually got them from Sport Fish Direct, and they were actually nice enough to actually sponsor the fish and cover all the costs for all these fish. What was really cool about Sport Fish Direct is you can actually take a look at their website. You can not only buy the individual fish that you want, but if you just kind of know whether you want a catfish pond or a bass pond, you can just buy these right here, which are the packages. They've done got the species lined out and how many per acre. Since this pond is roughly 1 acre, we bought 2 of the half-acre bass pond kits, and then I told them to go ahead and throw me in 25 catfish just to be a little cleanup crew in case some of the stuff dies. So if you have a pond of your own and you're thinking about stocking it with some fish, check out Sports Fish Direct, because they make it pretty easy to buy the fish, and they're the cheapest ones that actually sell the fish too, because that's why I landed on them. A fish is fish, you know what I mean? They don't need to be more expensive for no reason. But yeah, since these did get delivered in the mail, there's some pretty special protocol, whatever, is how we actually have to introduce them to the pond. So let me go ahead and pick up a random one, and we'll figure out and count how many we got. So this one right here is the 25 catfish. Let me grab a knife. Couldn't even find a KG pocket knife. What do you think about that? Now I'm using a prototype. They ship them super fast because you have to, because they're fish. They'll die. Oh, they're swimming, dude. Usually whenever you're buying fish stock a pond, they're like this big. Sounds like these catfish might be a little bit bigger. They are kind of sealed up in this bag thing because the oxygen in the bag is really important. There's the little, I don't know, thing that keeps them cool and stuff. And then inside that bag is this bag with 25 small channel catfish. I mean, these guys are quite literally, I'm gonna say 4 inches at the biggest. That's pretty cool though. But I'll go through, we'll introduce these at the beginning. So mark it down. 25 channel catfish. There is a chance they could spawn in this pond. Typically they don't spawn in ponds, but this pond has a lot of rocks, which gives them perfect spawning habitat. So right now we got 25 catfish. We'll keep up with it to see if we think they spawn or not in the future. But the way you're supposed to do this is to just set the bag in the water for about 10-20 minutes, or until they look like they're swimming all around the bag. And the reason you do this is because obviously the water that they were shipped in, whatever it may be, and the water of the pond, depending on the year, are probably not the same temperature. And if you just dump them out there all at once, I think they'll probably be okay. But some of them, and depending on the species, could get stunned, and honestly they could die right there. I assume those would probably been okay since the water's still kind of cold, but this is what you're supposed to do, so that's what we're going to do. Here we have 100 red ear and 25 largemouth bass. All right, there we go. Pretty good. I'm gonna keep it up in my phone because I'm 100% gonna forget. Let's see, catfish, 25. Bass, 25. So far, pretty sure we got more bass. And then red ear, so far we got 100. I think the red ear are also called shell cracker, and I think they're pretty cool for ponds because I think they go in there and they like eat some kind of like special shell. Some pretty undesirable shellfish or something off the bottom. Kind of keeps your bottom clean. So right here is the 100 red ear. Now these guys really are tiny. Like these are like legit an inch long. But the good thing is that their predator fish, the largemouth bass, are only that long. They're only like 3-4 inches long. That's the good thing about stocking them at like this stage, because none of the fish are big enough to eat each other yet. So they're all gonna get familiar with the pond. Maybe if they're lucky, we might even get a few spawns from the bluegill before the bass are actually big enough to start eating them. But yeah, it's turning out pretty good. And just like those catfish, I'm gonna walk them over here and just set them in the water. I got a pretty good spot right here. All those rocks right there are actually holding them together. That way they can't float away. All right, next box. And we got a lot of them. 200 bluegill. I think it says medium. Maybe these are a little bit bigger. I don't know. This is cool though. This is like Christmas, but for fish. Oh, here's the bluegill. Like, I'm just saying, boys, this is just one of many bluegill bags. And it probably would have took me an entire summer just to catch this many bluegill. Even at this big, they're not really easy to catch. There's 3 reasons why I didn't stock it myself. First of all, it's really hard. That's a lot of fish. Second of all, now I have pure bloodline, so I know nothing crazy's getting in here. And 3, if you're stocking in fish from everywhere, some of them could have a disease, something wrong with them, and then it just has potential to make you fish weird. Here, it doesn't really matter, because I know they're all purebred, straight off a fish factory. Plus, I mean, this is pretty cool. Here we got another 200 bluegill. So that brings us up to 400 bluegill. Sweet, not mad about that. Pretty sweet. Sheesh. You know something cool that I've noticed? None of them have been dead yet. Literally none of them. I think it's been about time. I'm gonna set these in the water. I think we're gonna let them catfish go. I think it's probably about time for them. They should probably be all right. But for these fish, I'm just setting them in the water to where bag is touching enough water for their water temperature to actually change. You know what I mean? It's not too complicated. I ain't trying to overcomplicate things. I'm just trying to tell you how it is. All right, so let's see. We start looking pretty normal. What they was saying somewhere is that whenever all the fish are really huddled up in the middle, they still need some time. But whenever they're swimming all throughout the bag, it's ready. These are kind of huddled up in the middle, but I think we're pretty okay. I think we're gonna let them go. All right, boys, moment of truth. Let's see what we got. I'm cutting the bag, and I'm gonna kind of let them swim out on their own. I'm gonna see if I can get them to go that way where we can see them. All right, there they go. Did y'all see though? Uh-oh, got one. We got one still in the bag. That's pretty cool. I'll show it to you. One tiny little baby catfish. And their little spines right now are like little needles. I'm gonna let this guy go. Might be bleeding, I don't know. All right, we're just gonna let him go. See you there, bud. And there he goes. He's swimming right good. He's fine. Cool. Let's keep counting fish. We're doing pretty good so far. We're getting some serious fish. It would've took me like 4 years to catch that many catfish. Big day for the pond. Big day for the pond. 200 more bluegill. That's our total up to 600 bluegill. We got 4 boxes left after this one. 200 bluegill, 200 more. I think I see the first dead bluegill out of all the fish we've had so far. The first dead one right there. All right, what we got? I feel like the bass should be coming up. Here's another 200 bluegill. Brings our total up to 800 bluegill for an acre. That's pretty good, but you gotta realize 800 bluegill, a lot of them's gonna get eaten, but at the same time, a lot of them's gonna spawn. So I don't really know how many fish there's gonna be once all these get to adult age, but that's why I just got the bass package, because the people who sell the fish know a lot more about the fish than I do. Here we go, 3 more boxes. I believe this one's probably gonna be the bass, and it is. We have 100 more red ear, brings us up to 200 red ear, and 50 bass. I believe that's all the bass we're gonna get. 50 bass, 1 pond. What you gotta think about though, is that the more bass there are, the less food there is per bass, which means the smaller bass. Versus if we just have 50, each bass can be bigger. All right, there's the bass. There's the red ear. That's pretty good. All right, I'm looking at it right now. I did not get more than I was supposed to. The bass package comes with largemouth bass, bluegill, minnows, and red ear. The minnows are right here. And we got 2 6 pounds worth of fathead minnows. Hey Siri, how many fathead minnows is in 6 pounds? We gotta figure this out. No? 220 per pound. Hey Siri, what's 220 times 6?
220 times 6 is 1,320.
Hey Siri, what's 1,320 times 2? 2640. Cool. Hey Siri, what's 25 plus 50 plus 200 plus 800 plus 2,640? We got 3,715 fish in this package. Or in total. This package is not that much. That's not bad. Let's go back down to the water for a moment, and I'm gonna let a few of these other ones out. I gotta make a little bit more space right here. I will say, this is pretty epic. All right. There's the bluegill. They're not really volunteering to swim out yet. Was that the first one that left? Maybe. There, they're starting to go. A couple at a time starting to head out of here. We're gonna give these guys a little bit more time. Looks like I may have just stunned a few and killed them. Hey man, that's part of the learning curve. It's okay. I'm just gonna give these fish more time. I'm gonna give them like a lot more time. We don't want any of these guys to die. The catfish seem to be okay, but the catfish are also a lot more hardy than a 1/2-inch bluegill. So we'll go ahead and get these fathead minnows in the water, and then we'll just sit back and give them all time to figure themselves out. Yeah, that's some good minnows right there. That's a lot of minnows. And the last box. This is all we got. All right, I'm gonna let these fish sit still for about 20 minutes, 20 more minutes, 25 more minutes, and then we'll go cut them loose and let them do their thing. I don't think that taking too much time acclimating to the water will hurt. Should be good, should be good. All right, let's check on how these bluegill are doing. Not all the bluegill swam out. Looks like most of them didn't. However, they are actually acclimating because you can see a little pod right here. They're not going anywhere. Makes sense, I guess. They don't really know where they are. So look at him. He's even trying to eat something. Just gonna go ahead and pour the rest of this bag out. Let the rest of them just do their thing, get out of there. There we go. Lots of bluegill. All right, that's all the bluegill out of the bag. And it looks like only a couple are dead. And they could just be stunned. So I guess that's a good sign. I'm gonna go ahead and do the rest of these. And we'll go from there. Oh, here's the largemouth. These are gonna be cool. Look at them there. These are gonna be cool. Yeah, they're doing good. There we go. All the largemouth are out. This one, this looks like a bunch of red ear or something. Nice. Look at all the minnows. Now those minnows have no idea where they are, and they have no idea where they're going. There's one swimming right out in the middle. Here's one swimming around the rock. There's some just not moving at all. There's a couple that's dead. Fathead minnows, they're not really super resilient, so few of them dying's very expected. Good thing is, at the moment, there's nothing big enough in the pond to eat them, so that'll give them plenty of time to actually figure out where they are, where they're going, and get all that figured out. I got a couple more bags, but honestly, that's it. We stocked the pond. Now, let's skip to about 2 weeks in the future and see if we can see some of these guys swimming on the edge after the water clears up. All right, guys, it's been about 2 weeks since I put the fish in, and something pretty important happened. And it's that we just got a pretty massive rain for like the past 4 days. Now, this is really important because I'm gonna be checking out the pipe, checking where the outflow is going, and making sure everything's working as it should be. Because if something's gonna go wrong, it's gonna go wrong after a massive rain. But first things first, as you can see, the water level is about as high as it can possibly be, but I am gonna check the pipe and make sure that it's no higher. I'll just get down here. All right, looking at the pipe, that's pretty good. Water's flowing all the way out. It looks like all the way back in the back, there seems to be a log, but I don't think that's a huge problem. The good thing is that the water is flowing in there and nothing's obstructing it. And as you can see, obviously, since the rain, it's muddy. Can't really check in on the fish right now. We'll check in that in hopefully like a week whenever the water settles. But right now, this is an important step. Over here on the outflow, let's check it out, see where it's going. It's coming out of the pipe, hitting all those rocks, and then it's flowing down just like we need it to. Let's go on down and see how it's running over. See, it's flowing pretty good, Can't complain with that. So far, it's came the ditch all the way, which is good. And it continues all the way down until right here, where there's literally like a rock cliff right here, and it's just falling over. So this is good. This is how it needs to be. So far, so good. We're very happy with this. If you remember back to the big video of the pond build, you can see after one of the big rains last year, our luck wasn't the same. Actually, something got stuck in the pipe and it started running over the dam. And as you see from this footage, it was pretty bad. Just coming out here to check, making sure everything's good. And luckily, it is. Also, random thought, all this really nice grass and clover, I think it is holding the dirt together, which is actually really good for it not washing away. But yeah, just wanted to give you this update because this is really important. And now we'll wait a couple weeks and we'll go see if we can see some of the fish. And it has now been 2 weeks since we stocked the fish, and we're gonna walk around a little bit and see if we can see any. Walking up to the rocks, we're gonna be checking in on the bank over here. You can see a lot of fish right there, you see? I don't know if those are fish or if those are tadpoles. To be honest, they might be tadpoles. Either way, it's not a bad sign. When I take a look over to this side, I notice our first casualty. And I can't tell if that's a bass, but it kind of looks like a creek chub to me. Don't really look like a bass, definitely not a catfish. If you remember way back, like literally 2 years ago when we was still building this thing, I actually did catch a few minnows and throw in here. Those were chubs, and I'm pretty sure that's what that fish is. I don't know why it died, but it did. We're gonna look around the edges some more and see if we can find some actual living fish. We're gonna step, oh gosh, scared me. We're gonna step down here and look in these rocks and see if we can see anything. The water's pretty dang clear, and I think it's only gonna get clearer. I'm not seeing a ton right around here. Let's go over to Graveyard Point and see what we got over there. The pond is actually coming along really good. Now that we got the fish in here and we got it to hold water, which is super important, it's time for more structure. This is probably gonna be the next chapter in the pond build, is more structure. The rocks that we added is great structure, but we just need more. The more structure there is, pretty much the more fish houses. Pretty much how it works. Right there we got a Christmas tree. We may be throwing that in soon, I don't know yet. Right here we're getting pretty shallow. Hoping maybe we can see some fish over here in the shallows. There goes some. Y'all seen them? Couldn't hardly tell what those were, but those are fish. Let's get out on the point and see if we can see anything. And along with more structure, I think we need a dock. I think that would just be epic, and why not? And I think we should also see if we could get a fish feeder, because obviously if you feed the fish are gonna get bigger. And that's cool. That's what we want, big fish. That's the point. All right, we're walking out on the point. Looking for any fish. I'm not seeing very many. No, there's a bluegill, there's a bluegill. Did you see him, you see him? There they go, there they go. That's one right there looking at us. All right, there he moved. That was pretty cool. And that was all up and under, oh gosh, there's a bunch up and under that rock. Let me see if I can take this rock and toss up over there. All right, none of them came out. That's not a bad sign though. And one of those even looked like it was about 3 inches. I don't think we stocked any that was about 3 inches. I think they're growing, which is a great sign. That's one great thing about all these rocks and stuff, is that they're actually gonna be able to like grow algae and stuff, which in turn will feed the fish. And right here we have something that's super interesting. Look at that. We've got baby fish. Now I know we stocked some pretty small fish, but not that small. We didn't stock anything that small. Now are those baby bass? I really don't think so. Baby bluegill? I don't really think so. Baby minnows? I'm thinking that might be the case. But the good thing about it, I see them there, I see them there, I see them over here. I see them right there. And as little as those fish are, that's actually gonna be perfect bass food, because our bass are only about that long right now. And they're not gonna be able to eat one of those bluegill. So one of those baby minnows are actually gonna be perfect. And we might have some fish right over here. I think I just see a bass. They were looking at me. I'm gonna wait a second. I think those bass just came up and looked at me, and it looks like they got bigger. I'll just say that. It's been 2 weeks. It's really not been that long, but maybe for a fish that big, it's a ton of time. I don't know. I'm not a fish biologist. I don't know how that works. Here's a pretty good up-close view of these fish. I want y'all to look at that and let me know, what kind are they? Do you know whether those are baby something? I really don't know. They're little though, and I think they're perfect bass food, especially perfect baby bass food. Let's creep over here and see if those bass are still over here. It makes sense why the bass are over here now. I see all those little baby minnow things. I feel like if I tossed fish food in, they'd go for it. There was a big bluegill. There, that's good. Good sign. I'm just gonna keep the camera up. I may be spooking something out right here. I'm looking, but I'm not seeing any bass or anything. I don't know if I scared them off or if they wasn't really bass. Either way, whatever fish I seen was already about 6 inches long. And that's bigger than any fish we stocked before. So that might be them right here. There they are. I feel like those are bass, right? I feel like they kind of fit the size. Couldn't get a super clear look, but whatever those fish are, they're definitely bigger than anything we've stocked so far. So, hey, Maybe that's a good sign. Maybe these fish are growing. I think next is really just get some structure and maybe try to build a dock. I think that would be perfect. And then of course, see if we could try to start feeding these things. Because if we can feed them, they're gonna be able to get like twice as big as they would otherwise. So pretty much concludes this episode. We stocked the pond. Now our goal is keep it going. If you guys have any epic ideas for the pond build, comment below. And it's really hot. I'm gonna go get water because it's hot.